Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. You are listening to a rebroadcast of a previously recorded show.
Absolutely. So I know we have on the program New York Times best-selling author Jim Grippando. Jim, thanks for calling. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is my 22nd Miami Book Fair, so it just keeps rolling along and getting better every year.
Yeah, Jim, and it is the Super Bowl of books, right? Because just of all the activities, how you can stay interactive with so many different things, and everything's so well thought out and planned, and just amazing people that come here, right?
Yeah, and I always tell people when I try to describe to out-of-towners, being from Miami myself, I'm very proud of the fact that we have a lot of culture here, but a lot of people don't associate Miami with a book culture, right? So for us to have one of the premier book fair in the country is something really to be proud about, and I am, and I guess one of the things I suppose is it's a beautiful day here at the Street Festival, and I guess that's one of the things that really does keep us going is that there's worse places to be than Miami in the middle of November.
Oh, there definitely is, but this is the nicest November I've seen across the country ever. But yesterday it was 70 degrees, Jim, and today it's nasty. Every year, that's what happens. I think, oh, yeah, the weather's great, 40 degrees,
yeah.
And then the day that it's Miami, I'm looking out and saying, man, I wish I was here. And, Jim, I was there the first this is my 6th year covering it, and 1 year I've gone to Miami, and I told my wife's like, you're leaving me to go in a quiet place because I can't be in my studio because my kids are so loud. And I said, honey, next year we are going to Miami, and you will co-host with me, and I'll get to meet all these authors again. I hope that I get to travel next year to Miami. So that's a goal on my, I wouldn't say bucket list, but I hope to cover it next year in Miami and not have to deal with the cold of Pittsburgh. Now, Jim, you continue to write fantastic books, and Jack Switek is the guy, right, that keeps you going, doesn't he?
Yeah, this was actually my very first book festival in 1994. Was for a book called The Pardon. And actually, just talking about the weather, that was the only book festival I remember where they actually had to cancel the street festival. But we nonetheless had an indoor festival that year, and I introduced Jack Switek as this young and idealistic criminal defense lawyer who defends death row inmates, and his father was the law and order governor of Florida who signed their death warrants. So it was a great father-son story wrapped in a suspense novel. And I thought I had tidied up the plot nice and left Jack alone. But about 6 years later, after people started sending me emails and saying, whatever happened to Jack Switek, I decided to bring him back. And so now Gone Again, which I'll be talking about today at 11 o'clock, is my 24th novel overall and the 12th featuring Miami criminal defense lawyer Jack Switek.
Wow. Tons of experience. I would ask you, what is one major thing that you want to highlight that you've learned through all of your experiences of writing so many different novels?
Well, a couple things. I think the major thing is to entertain your readers. In my area, I write suspense and thrillers. But I've tackled some really important subject matters, including in Gone Again, Jack has gone back to doing death penalty work, and it's an interesting hook in the sense that Jack's client, who's on death row, is days away from execution, and the mother of the 17-year-old victim asked Jack to stop the execution because she's convinced that her daughter is still alive. So it tackles this subject matter of a possible innocent person facing execution, which is a serious subject matter. But I think the main thing I have learned is, I would defy anyone to read the book and be able to figure out where I personally stand on the death penalty, because I hate preachy books and I don't write them. And B, it's an entertaining read, even though it's a heavy subject matter. And that's been, I feel that way. I've been true to my fans, and I have a very loyal readership of not only the Jack Switek novels, but every couple of years. Neil, I think when we were here, we talked about a book that was outside the series. So, I kind of go back and forth each year, but try to deliver the same suspense and entertainment. But also make you maybe continue thinking about a topic like it might be the death penalty. It might be, who knows, it might be an environmental spill off the coast of Florida. All of these things that I like to incorporate that are very real, things people should think about, but I'm not going to tell them how they should think.
Gotcha. All righty.
So talking about Jack the character, how much does he remind you of yourself, Jim? In the years you've built this character and continue, and you talk about using current events in a way to develop Jack's thinking at times and things like that. What would you say?
Yeah, Jack is I think you pour yourself into all of your characters. Yes. I think anybody who denies that is lying. Everything is sort of funneled through you. But Jack is like me in probably this respect more than any other, is that when I wrote 2 novels while I was practicing law full time. So both Jack and I were practicing attorneys. But I worked for a very large law firm here in Miami. Janet Reno, the former Attorney General who just passed away recently, was a partner at that law firm, and the president of the American Bar Association was a partner at that firm. So it was a very prestigious firm. And so when I quit the firm, I was a partner. And my daughter was 2 months old. I had just been married about 18 months, and people thought I had flipped my lid. That I was going to go give that all up to become a writer. And I soon found that all the support I had from a law firm of 200 lawyers and all the support staff, that was all gone. I was essentially a sole practitioner. And so that feeling, I think, is very much Jack, where you kind of follow your gut, follow your dream, and even if it means sort of cutting ties with the past and taking a little bit of a risk. And that's sort of who Jack is. And I think that part of him is endearing to the readers, because there's a piece of all of us that would like to say, God, I have the guts to give up this life that is sort of smothering me, but supporting me and giving me a comfort and a vacation and a pension and all of that, and do what I really love to do. And that's who Jack is. And so that to that extent. Now, Jack obviously gets into a lot more trouble than I ever got into my life. But yeah. But that's the entertainment component of it. So, but fundamentally, I would say that's Jack and I sort of have that. We're not necessarily risk takers, but we take the risks nonetheless.
Gotcha. So,
fabulous.
With all the things you've written, all the books, and the adventure that Jack is on, have you ever found yourself having difficulty either getting inspiration or thinking of an idea? Like you have where you want to go, but you're missing parts in the middle that you're just having difficulties getting. And how do you overcome that, or how do you find that inspiration?
I think what you need to do, and this is something I'm sort of a monogamous relationship with both my editor and my agent. I've had the same agent and editor for some 22 years, and one of the first things that I learned from my agent was to really know what the story is about, and then all of those things that you've described will fall into place. I mean, Artie Pine was his name. His son represents me now. Artie has passed away, but one of the first exercises he put me through as a writer was I would tell him I would babble over the phone saying I got this idea and this is the idea, and I'd go on and say, you know what, write it down and get it down to 3 pages, and then we'll talk about it. And I would fax 3 pages to him, and then he'd say, just get it to a page. I think that would be better. I'd get it down to a page, and then he'd call me back and say, how about a paragraph? Just get it to a paragraph. And I'd say, I can't. What are you doing to me? And then he would finally say, before we even started talking about it, his final words would be, you know what? Why don't you just get it down to a sentence that starts with, this is the story of, and then, you know what? Once I would do that, I didn't need to talk about the story with him because I knew what it was about. And that exercise is something I put myself through, with each of these books that I take on. And now with the cast of characters, that the supporting cast, I think that's what makes the Jack Switek story so fresh, is that it has an interesting cast of characters. It started out with Jack being single and having trouble in love, and now in Gone Again, Jack is married and is to an FBI agent, by the way, which presents its own sets of problems. A criminal defense lawyer married to an FBI agent, and she's pregnant, so he's starting a family. So a lot of now those plot issues are worked out by, like I say, having that, this is the story of fill in the blank, and knowing where Jack is in his life. I have the framework for a story, and it's a fun ride now. I don't have those anxious moments. It's really a fun ride to write a Jack Switek novel for me.
Gotcha.
That's great. Best place we can find information on you, purchase your book, and learn more about you. Where can we go?
My website, James Grippando, JamesGrippando.com.
All right. Well, thanks for calling. Best of luck. And I appreciate chatting with you and enjoyed the conversation. It was a lot of fun.
Great. I look forward to meeting you. You got to get down to Miami.
I'm hoping next year, man. We'll see. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good talking to you.
Sounds good.
Take care. Thanks. Okay. Bye-bye. All right. You're listening to Author's Corner, powered by Life Improvement Radio, live from the Miami Book Fair. I'm with Peter Elvidge as we're waiting on our next guest.
Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own and shall not be construed in any way as advice from Life Improvement Radio. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our website. Personal perspectives expressed by the producers, writers, or editors will always be presented as such. Any rebroadcast or retransmission without the expressed written consent of Life Improvement Radio is strictly prohibited. Thanks for listening.